Welcome boys and girls, Christine here with a discussion about Tyrion and Teclis and their reworks in Total War Warhammer 3, coming alongside the Tides of Torment DLC. They have been improved, though maybe not as much as they should have. I think that's really what they should type under Tides of Torment. Improved, not where it should be. At least based on this version that I have right here. And keep in mind, what I'm showing here is the current version I have. The CA is still patching relatively constantly, and so as a result of that, the one we will get on December 4th is probably going to have some differences. And yes, it's not a review. I do need to state that. Okay, so what have they done for Tyrion? Well, Tyrion does benefit from the High Elf reworks quite a bit, though, again, not necessarily as much as he should. He also gains more influence through battles fought on Ulthuan. So when you fight battles as the High Elves, you will gain influence. It's not a huge amount, but it is there, and Tyrion just gets more than everyone else. Now, the reason that is so important is because he now has the Champion of Ulthuan mechanic available to him. These grant you some very good benefits all around the board. Like, for instance, you want to take 50% damage on an army and just finish all construction in a region, you can do so. Maybe it should be a province to some extent, maybe not. Or it could be a case of you can choose which part of a province you do it on. But regardless, you do have various tools to, quote-unquote, help you protect Ulthuan. And you can also use some things like Champion's Demand or Restore Movement Range. Though, these things do require you to get certain resources, so either Martial Law or the Path of Cain. If we look at Martial Law, it's fairly into the research tree, so you need to research a bunch of things in terms of infantry advancements to get martial law, and Path of Cain is beyond that specific one. So there's a couple of unique things in terms of research that are available to legendary lords. Okay, so that is one of the main mechanics that you do have available. Then you have alliances. So what this requires you is to either confederate or ally a specific faction, and that will grant you certain benefits that you can use. So you can do damage to a target army, you can ambush an enemy, all those kind of things. The one aspect, though, I find questionable is the Mistwalker reinforcements, because as far as I've played, at least, you still can't get Mistwalker recruitment when you confederate Alfarian. I mean, even if I use the console command, at least that has been what I've seen so far. Maybe CA changes that. I understand they want to make Alfarian's units unique. His campaign is just not particularly great, though, and the dynamics there, again, just one of those things where it's like, be forced to fight a bunch of battles manually just to get a resource to use in your campaign. Okay, beyond that, one of the downsides that with Tyrion, they've given him a unique mechanic. It's not terrible, but it's not really amazing because it requires influence, and influence is going to be spent all over the place. You spend it for lords, you spend it for heroes, you spend it for confederations, and then you have an extraction. And the problem is, given the pacing of current campaigns in Warhammer 3, you're just going to have to choose. Now, the problem with that is, I understand that choices are good. It's just that issue of some are so much better than others that you ignore everything else. And that's where the problem comes in. And beyond that, what I would also say with Tyrion is that his kill line choice of Majesty of Ulthuan versus Blood and Fire is just a mess. I mean, you could say, just ignore it, but imagine if you're a new player, right? You might think, Bloodline of Venarian or Majesty of Ulthuan, but Majesty of Ulthuan is just genuinely better. There's no benefit in your campaign to get Bloodline of Venarian. Tyrion himself is very strong in battle as is. You give him the Sword of Cain, he's even stronger, so why the hell would you even want to buff that combat sense? He doesn't need it. It's just pure fluff as disguised as a choice, and that's also a problem with Alariel as well, in her campaign dynamic. The final thing I would say about Tyrion is that, yes, his victory condition still sucks. He still has to wipe out Malekith. That should be a long campaign victory condition, not a short campaign victory condition. And just in general, this idea of like, oh, you complete your campaign, you get free heroes. Come on, CA. We don't play the game the way you think we will play it. So yeah, between hero capacity limited until tier 4 and all those victory conditions, that's the big downside in Tyrion's campaign. It is better, but it's just kind of like that situation where the game is trying to push you in the direction of like, oh, don't defeat your enemies on Ulthuan too fast because you're going to gain less influence. Take it slow. But the thing is, that's not how the game is played. That's not the incentive structure of the game. So that is where I stand on it. Better campaign. Tyrion's always been good, but could be better. Now, with regards to Teclis and the things he's dealing with in a campaign dynamic, here's what they have changed for him. First off, they have given him Secrets of the White Tower, which is similar to what Gelt has. Though, to be honest, I prefer Gelt's mechanic because at least it's not drowning in icons that can take a while to actually get to read on. You look at Gelt, his icons are very simple, the tabs are very simple, you click something, you understand very well what is what, right? Here, it takes a while to figure out. There's different things, but essentially you get single-use actions for every single tab right here. Wins a magic benefit, rank 4 archmages for certain specific lores of magic, certain benefits for mages and archmages, depending on the tab you're talking about, as well as being able to get specific mages in from a tab, like just being able to recruit some of them with some benefits to them. Okay, that's part of it. That's how the mechanic works. It's similar to Geld, so you get repeatable actions, then you get single-use actions. Very simple, same dynamic as Geld, right, if we go for it. Now, what they have added for Teclis on top of that, actually, let's talk about what they haven't done for Teclis. They haven't changed his skill line much. I mean, I think they've added a couple of things here and there, but it's still the same magical skill line, which is like, whatever. One of the most powerful mages in the realm that has one of the least interesting schools of magic in the game. Like, seriously, why is Fiery Invocation a bounce spell when it should be a spell he always has? Probably has something to do with Archmages being a DLC lord, but all the same, it just means Teclis, yeah, he can spam a lot of spells. The spells he has are not especially good. You do have Secrets of the White Tower if you want to use them as army spells, but again, it would be nicer for Teclis to actually have good spells as opposed to what we get right now. Now, on top of that, you also get the dynamic where when you capture your first province, so just I'll resolve this situation, capture this, you can confederate Safri. You have different choices on how you do so, or you can stay independent. You can return to Ulthuan, you can stay where you are, but gain control of Safri, so you gain control of an entire province, or you can keep on the move. I'd probably recommend always going for Safri, just getting that province, getting that situation right there, dealing with the problems that may exist here, all that kind of good stuff, right? Just disband this army, it's not especially useful, deal with certain or use that army to help Tyrion, just nudge things along over here for Tyrion and Ariel, because it is important for Ulthuan to be controlled by High Elves, so it's great that Teclis has a way to get back there. Couple of problems, and big ones, with that dynamic when you're looking at Teclis. First off, of all the characters in the game that should have a teleportation mechanic, Teclis is the #1 on that list. You can return to Safri and use that dynamic, but he should be dealing with trouble spots in the similar way to Oxyatl. It's good he has the magic, he should have the magic, he should be more powerful individually as a mage, but he also doesn't have like the troubleshooter that Oxyatl has as a mechanic. Seriously, that mechanic that Oxyatl has fits Teclis so much better than it does Oxyatl. So, good job, CA, with regards to that. I understand you probably just wanted to focus on Norse Cup, but that was not necessarily the best decision from my perspective. Okay, that's one aspect. The one that kind of messes it up is the climate situation that Teclis is dealing with. Because yes, this is where CA screwed up. I think he has been given desert, but he's still focused in a campaign dynamic with jungle, and Lustria sucks. Just the design of the Southlands over here, or the design of Lustria, is not conducive to a great campaign. I know, it's not great to ignore a good portion of the campaign map, but this is the thing that annoys me about CA. It's like, oh, we want players to engage with a certain area of a campaign map because we put it there. It's like, okay, have you done anything whatsoever to fix the underlying issues in the area? The answer would be no. So it's the same thing with the Mask, it's the same thing with the Unbow, it's the same thing with Skulltaker. All of those campaigns get downgraded because of the jungle. And it's even worse for Teclis because he has Kairos to deal with. Now, granted, you're in a much better position to deal with Kairos than before. If I'm not mistaken, one of these schools allows you to replenish your movement range. I kind of forget which one. It's one of those. You get instant healing. Okay, 50% for the target army. But again, CA, that's just putting pig on a lipstick, so to speak, from my perspective. It doesn't solve the issue, especially when you consider the fact you have to go for a menu that looks like this to be able to do it. So that is my perspective. Is Teclis better? Yes. Is he still not especially the greatest campaign to play as the High Elves? Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, my conclusion on this, really, at the moment, in this current version, not the one we'll get on launch, not the review, all that, they did better with them, but just adding mechanics without any kind of idea, it's like, okay, how do we make these campaigns fun? It's just throwing shit out there thinking it matters. You have to have a plan, a focus, not just like, oh, we're just going to do a cool mechanic, but never think for a moment about the campaign dynamics. This is the reason Elite Fanar is a great campaign right now, or a much better campaign with Tides of Torment, because you do see that. That's the reason Lokir ends up being better, actually. Because with Lokir was just very simple. Give him teleportation to Black Arcs, give him Aceland Sea Lanes, and there you go, a much better campaign. It's also a couple of things, right? With Teclis and Tyrion, it's like, oh, let's do the UI, let's do the mechanics, but then ignore certain simple things that they could have done to improving, like climate situation, dealing with climate negation through research or confederation or both. It's a problem as well with Lariel, who didn't, at least last time I checked, they didn't change that. Again, subject to change, work in progress, not full version, and all that. Costin signing out. Stay tuned for more.